7 minutes. 7 minutes.
Josh.
It's Rebecca.
He is just. Yes, by Mark Connell. There you go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Marsh Bingo. It's so great to see you all today. Upcoming at the Marsh, we have one more performance of Talk to Your People tomorrow night. I hear there may be just a couple of seats left available. And then after that, we're going to be starting our fall season.
Off so you can read it.
The first show in our fall season is going to be Brian Copeland's Grandma and Me, and that will be starting on September 9th. So start taking a look at that and all of our fall offerings because they're coming up soon. All right. And now I'm so excited to pass things over to the wonderful, the fabulous Mr. Josh Kornbluth.
Thank you, Caitlin. Hello, guys. How are you doing, Caitlin? Thank you for the applause, Ellie. Rachel, I've already been in touch with, and there's someone deep in the dark, deep in the darkest, very darkness. Oh.
Let there be light.
There's light, and it is Anne. Hi, how are you? All and Caitlin, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today, Josh?
I'm doing okay. Yeah, some stuff's been going on, and but I mean, I'm mostly fine. I'll explain. Mm-hmm. I know I typically don't like to talk about my experiences and thoughts whilst I host bingo, but tonight might be different. So, but basically, to answer your question, basically, I'm fine. And excited to play another game of bingo, which will begin with this song. I have to get it into. Okay. Marsh bingo. Marsh bingo. Marsh bingo. Marsh bingo, Marsh bingo, Marsh bingo. I kind of went off into a little falsetto there. Just, it was back in the days when I was in a boy band. It's just two boys. It was just me and Scott. I don't know if that counts as a boy band, or if you actually need to have like, 3 or more. It was just a 2-man band. But we were teen idols, so that counts. So hi everybody, nice to see you. I'm sorry I missed you last week. If you signed on last week, I was having what I described to Stephanie in a text at sometime after 6:55 as an emotional emergency, which sounded pretty dramatic to me. And then she very kindly did. So I'm sorry for all you getting ready. I'm sorry, Caitlin, you had to get all set up and stuff like that. And I'll explain what it is, but it has nothing to do with the affidavit, that was heavily redacted affidavit that was released today by the Department of Justice, showing that it seems pretty clear that Donald Trump, or it seems like maybe he's going to be prosecuted, and that would be great. And my only fear is that I read somewhere, I'm just living for that, the perp walk. I'm a little fearful because I read just in some little thing that it said, well, because he's a former president, like he can't go into Gen Pop, in prison because, all the secrets and knowledge that he has. So he would either have to go into solitary, which is fine with me, although I prefer that he be in the general population of Rikers Island or another similar prison. Or they suggested he might be put under house arrest, and that would suck. I would not want him to be like confined to Mar-a-Lago. It just, I realized he wouldn't be able to, supposedly, he would be able to get out to his other properties and stuff with his ankle bracelet. But I'm getting ahead of myself. And I think the thing to do is to start with game number 1. We're playing bingo. I hope you have your bingo cards all set up and ready to go. And here we go. And the very first bingo ball of this game 1 of this bingo on August 26th, the week before Labor Day weekend, is I-24. I-24. So if you have I-24, you might want to make some sort of notation. I'm really tired of authoritarians, so I don't want to tell you what to do. Maybe if you have I-24, you would rather not even discuss it or note it or anything. And I think you be you, But if you should choose to, you could mark it if you have. Ball number 2 is I-17. 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 And ball number 3 is G49. G49. Really go picture, the new telescope, the James Webb telescope, a picture of Jupiter. It looked pretty cool. It was very, I don't know, pretty. A lot of strata of different. And then apparently Jupiter and maybe Saturn, they have on their pole, maybe they're one of their poles, I don't know, maybe both, but on one of their poles they have pentagon. They have some weird shape at the pole, and I realize I'm really getting above my pay grade here, but there was something that was just very, very cool. There was also, I don't know if you heard, but they released the sound that a black hole makes. Have you seen that? There's it has a thing, and I'm not quite sure how it works, but they have this sound and they have this thing going around, and they show a picture of black hole, and then it sounds very black holy. It's not like I don't know, Daisy, it's like, it sounds like, oh man, sounds like there's a black hole near. Whoa, and then you come out the other side and you're Republican and just as skinny as a doodle. And your brain is absent. G52. So my thing last week was actually a little distracting because I just had a thing. I don't know if it's a thing, so it's probably not a thing. But I just had like a thing on medical thing. I don't know if you ever like get tests at like Kaiser. I have Kaiser because I'm mostly I sought out Kaiser because of my fondness for the helmets that the Kaisers wore up through the First World War. I just thought I thought I would get one, but apparently it doesn't come with it. And I had the kind of test that you do that, like when Sarah was pregnant, and then they put goop on her tummy, and then they go, "Ooh, there's that thing." I had that thing, and I wasn't pregnant. There's no gender reveal to be revealed, but it was to test some part of my heart that apparently, even though they tested all these parts of my heart, they didn't test this one. Like they left off this one, and it's like an important part or something. It involves like, so anyhow, so I don't know, but what they do is when you take a test, any kind of test, blood test, whatever, P test, if you're Trump, then what you get back is you get back the result like as soon as the lab, like you get it, and it doesn't necessarily tell you, like it's hard to read because it's not written to the layperson. It's the information for the doctors and the specialists, stuff like that. So like just like a few minutes ago, I got a little thing saying that my test has come back from just a test I just took earlier today, the heart test, and then I was looking at things like normal. Then one thing, and I just don't understand. I'm waiting to hear from the doctor because I don't understand. But there was something about the aorta that and that I should be registered with an aorta registry and possibly be referred to the cardiovascular surgery department. Sounds ominous, but it could just mean they like me. I really don't know. So anyhow, so that's like more recently on my mind. And I really have no idea. It may mean nothing, but it was just sort of weird. And then it said, you have an aortal blurry, like it didn't say you, it wasn't addressed to me, it wasn't really that personal, but it was like I had some words. So I Googled it. And when you Google something medical, you're for sure 100 times out of 100, you're going to get information that is accurate. And so what I did when I Googled whatever it said, the orgal something, not stenosis, something. Anyhow, it said like a leaky aortal valve and the aorta leaks and stuff. But again, who knows? So, but it's just sort of on my mind, it's just sort of on my mind. It's like, because, I've been having, as I mentioned, I like to fetch, but also, these breathing problems for a year that, when I exercise, especially when not just exercise, like stand up, walk, I get like gaspy and stuff, and it's actually been getting better lately. And so I thought, but and maybe it is just getting better. But I looked up the aortal bling, and it said, I'm sure a lot of things do this, but it said that one of the symptoms is that you exercise and then you get out of breath really easily, stuff like that. So I don't know. I was I've been thinking about, I may have even mentioned last time, I guess 2 weeks ago, that I was just thinking about, it sort of amazes me that I've lived past my father's age that he lived to, which was 59. And so I don't have an example from my own family, from my father, of how a corn blue man handles himself between 59 and 63. So I've been on my own with this. And but one thing that I do know that my father never experienced in that age period is that I was bingo. And the next number is I-19. So if you have I-19, do whatever it is you want. It may be an indication to you that you want to change some things about the way you salt your food. 071, 071, 071, 071, 71. So anyhow, so last what we've been doing is I have these 3 storage units in a building on Shattuck Avenue near the Berkeley Bowl. I can say it's not revealing anything now, but it's like a building. It has like little wiggly, and I first got it in an investor in my company owned the building, so I got these free storage units, and then he sold it, and then they sold it again, and so like it was gone up and up in price. So Sarah and our son and I have been going to clear out these 3 things before the end of the month, so that we don't have to pay anymore. And so there's like one whole unit is like personal stuff. And my whole life I put stuff away in storage. I mean, if it goes into storage, that's like the best thing that could have happened to it. Like it could have gone to a garbage bag, not to go into the garbage, but I used to when I moved, I put everything in garbage bags and just take the garbage bags with me from apartment to apartment. B8, B8, B8. I'm gonna blame that on how my brain is wired. But in any case, now I have this stuff, and there's family stuff, and personal stuff, and they're my records. I don't know, Caitlin, if you know about like when records. No, because they're still. It's not before your time because there are still vinyl records. In fact, they're actually pretty popular now. People are into like audiophile things, and records, and but also, if you have two turntables and a microphone, that's how you can be a hip hop DJ. And so I had 1 turntable, no microphone, and I had my records, 4 cartons of records, 4 boxes of records. And I've been trying to get rid of stuff, throw stuff out. We have storage units down in our building too. I've just been like throwing stuff, recycle, shred, and it's much harder to clear out and put into order things than it is to stuff them away in no order whatsoever. You probably knew that. N42, at least in a closed system. So, and so there were these records, there was 4 boxes of records, and I got all really excited about pulling things out. It's also the storage things. This isn't really relevant, except if I have an aortic thing, I just want to say I get some extra points for this. Because I have to go up and down this. All the storage things are up on a second level. There's a bottom level stuff, and there are these moving metal stairs that you have to push to get in, and they're really rickety. And 2 of the 3 of them don't roll anymore, so they don't. And they're huge. And then when you get on them, they go like that, and then so it's a little precarious. You have to go up and down, and then take stuff down, put stuff up, and then I don't remember packing away rat droppings. When I put stuff into those storage units, I'm pretty sure if I think back to the things that I put away, I said, I don't have room for it. There wasn't a point where I went, you know what, I'm going to scatter just my scattered rat droppings. They got to go somewhere, because we're just running out of room. No, so those things are also there, which implies the existence at some point of rats. The good news being that they're eating. 064. So anyhow, so I put things of records, and I was like, I've been thinking about these records, and I thought, well, who knows? Maybe I have like some really, because it would be really great to get money somehow. And so I thought maybe I have just like one of my records, my old Cat Stevens record. It's one that Cat Stevens, secretly put like some sort of religious thing in between. I don't know. Maybe blood on the tracks. Dylan had some blood, his own blood on the tracks of my particular record, and I was just sort of looking it up, and I was thinking I was going to go through all this elaborate stuff about finding out whoever you find out from how much things are worth. And so I started Googling stuff, which, as I mentioned before, is a surefire way to efficiently use your time. 069. And one thing I found out is that there's an album called The Beatles, Then and Now. No, yeah, it's not that announced yesterday and today, because the play on it is that it has the single Yesterday plus some other things. It wasn't one of their main albums, but I had it. I remember what the cover looked like. And I read in Google that if you got the Butcher cover, what they call the Butcher cover, which is a cover that they put out, the sleeve, that they put out initially for that record, it had the Beatles, and then they were sort of arranged among the Beatles were baby dolls that had been like dismembered with like fake blood around them. And apparently this was considered, wasn't a pleasant. So they discontinued it. So if you happen to have a Butcher, the Butcher cover, which I don't, I was remembering my cover. My cover was this other thing where they're all like, there's a thing and it's just normal. But anyhow, if you have it, it could be worth $120,000. And then if you have one that Paul McCartney signed, it's worth way more than that. So I knew I didn't because I remember the cover, but I was excited about. It said that in the label that's in the middle of the album, sometimes what they did is the companies that were pressing the records, they had already put on the Butcher, the version, like a part of the Butcher thing in that center part of the record. And then it was like, no, we're stopping the Butcher thing. And instead of removing that center thing, they put the new thing over the thing. So in other words, you could have like a hidden Butcher center thing label, and that would be worth itself. That'd be worth a big money. N35. I would be able to probably get like an electric thing of this, maybe made out of platinum or something, if I had it. So anyhow, I had these 4 albums and I was going to do all this stuff. And then it was like late in the afternoon. I just like, let's just go to Amoeba. Let's going to sell it. Let's go to Amoeba. And then Amoeba Records, big famous record store, in our case in Berkeley on Telegraph. And then a couple blocks down is also famous Rasputin Records. And they both buy records. You bring in your records, your vinyl records, and they buy them. And I'm just going to do this because I'm being efficient, and now we're going to make room, and we're not going to pay for these storage units anymore, and I'm going to get rid of it, and I'm not going to delay and procrastinate as I've done for so many years. I'm just going to go and bring it in. Small note here, big boxes, just normal size boxes filled with records are damn heavy. And as it happens, the thing I have a lot of are records and books, which are also heavy. Anyhow, I brought it into Rasputin because that was closer to where we parked. And the guy went through it. And then, I think he was it wasn't a big thing for the guy. He does this a lot. And he wasn't making small talk with me. In fact, he seemed to prefer that I look around the store while he went through my vinyl albums. This is my collection from when I was a kid up through, definitely into my 40s. So, a big swath. And B6. And as he was going through them, I had in my mind, I said, I have some records here that were from my father's record collection that I rescued, like a collection of Israeli folk dances, possibly not worth a lot, and I was thinking, but I was just in this sort of frantic thing of I'm going to sell them, and maybe I'll make enough money, that we can upgrade our things. And so anyhow, so I did it. So the guy said, it's $70. He said, I said 70. He said, yeah, I'm rounding up from 67, which was, nice of him. And I said, can you give me a moment? And I was just thinking, I want to act. I want to be a man of action because I'm not, and I want to be, and I want to just move this along. And I thought about it, and he says, okay. And he's just standing there. And I felt just really, so I said, because I was thinking maybe I should just undo it and take them all back. But then I just said, no, okay, fine. And he gave me $70. G48. And I was walking back to the car, where Sarah had parked, and then I was thinking a lot about these records. I'd been thinking about them before, but as I mentioned this to you guys, I'm just imagining. But to me, music is maybe the deepest sort of way frequently I can connect with myself, or I can experience things or process things, and certainly, process loneliness and grief, as well as joy. And so I could tell you what, my records were, and I could see him flipping through them. I'm not proud of it, but I have Seals and Crofts, I've greatest hits. One of them just died, Seals or Crofts, I'm not sure. Just want to mention that. And it would go through my thing, my period where it's like I was so excited that James Taylor and Carly Simon were together, and I would play the new James Taylor and the Carly Simon album together, side A, and then turn over to side B, side B. I did that, and then meanwhile my father was moving on to Black Sabbath, and I was like, "Oh yeah, what's that? What's that, old man? What kind of old man stuff is Black Sabbath?" And Crosby, Stills and Nash, and he never left Joan Baez and stuff like that. And I have all these things, including I had a thing that my dad brought back from. I don't think we went together, but he must have gone Newport Folk Festival. Didn't even have a real sleeve. It was like a private pressing of a Newport Folk Festival, like in 64, 65. It was just, stuff that was really cool. And I was filled with an enormous regret that that they were gone, that I'd given them up. I wouldn't have even seen them for years if we weren't Clary Sturgeon. But I felt like all these parts of me were, including, I still grieve many, many years later for my dad. But not just for my dad. I grieve for, or I remember myself at 12 in my room, and myself at 14. I remember being, having my first apartment and my first cat named Vinny. Vinny, not super affectionate, but I was very happy to have it. And I had an apartment cat in Chicago, and I remember listening, and there were certain things that I listened to while I was generally, pretty lonely, and N38, and my dad was, sick, N38, and so I remember, for example, Tracy Chapman, no, not Tracy Chapman, pre-Tracy, Joan Armatrading. There's a song of hers called Walk Under Ladders. Actually, the whole album is called Walk Under Ladders. And it's a really happy song called I'm lucky, I can walk under ladders. Oh, I'm so lucky that I'm as lucky as me. It's very happy. I play that, and I remember playing that, and I remember from college playing the Clash's first album, the version that came out in many albums, many things through the years, into punk, into P-funk, and oboe music. And I just sort of felt like I just sort of thrown away, not exactly, but I just sort of cut off a lot of my life, and it was gone and irretrievable. And it made me really, really sad. Like, I was really distraught. And, my wife and son were, comforting me and stuff. And I really was like, I was crying and stuff. And so, like, my son was setting up the light, it's his light that lights up this thing. He was setting up for this thing. I was like 6:55, whatever. And I was just like, I'm pretty open with my friends in bingo, like probably like I overshare, but I don't think I'm in a position. I don't think I'm in a condition to host bingo, like to call out bingo numbers. You need to have a certain level of stability emotionally. There's a lot that could be said about the state of mind, the emotional state that you need to be in to host bingo. But suffice it to say, I didn't feel I'd met all the criteria. B12. And so I texted Stephanie. So that's why I missed, and I apologize. That's why I missed. I missed you guys, and I missed doing bingo. I just didn't want to be actually like ugly crying through bingo. It just seems like it's too much. You have to advertise that in advance so people can prepare. You can't just sort of come into it. 063. And the thing is, Sarah actually called, like first thing next morning, she called Rasputin Records and said, can we get them back? Like, I didn't want to deal with it. So like, we get them back because they put there's a little pile of records that he said, okay, these are for $70 rounded up. And then all the rest of them we're just gonna put somewhere and throw away, right? So she's like, can we come in and get them back? And then the person explained that no, they're already in the vinyl record purgatory of Rasputin's, and no human may enter and then emerge, without being turned to stone or whatever. It was over. The things were already, it was over. And I have, music. I have a lot of music now in different forms. Now it's streaming mostly, which is weird. But anyhow, I have a lot of music, but I don't have those records. Also, a lot of them were warped. Maybe most of them, because you really need to be careful, apparently, the way you store records. So even if I had kept them, it would have been, Dylan going electric, which itself, I think, should be worth $120,000, especially if signed by Paul McCartney. G58. But the thing is, I went from there through a thing into out and out some other side. And what I felt like was that what I did was essentially is like open up, we have like the deep sort of sadnesses or deep emotions, and we can't just go around expressing them all the time because, it's inappropriate, even for me, right? But they're like wounds. They're like, I don't know what it means that you reopen sometimes. Like it could be a little thing, like open a book. This happened to me years and years and years ago. It's like a couple of years after my dad died, and I just opened a book and there was an inscription from him, right? And I was fine. And then I was, whoa, it just all is like whatever is the barrier between then and wherever I am now disappears. And in short, not a phrase that I have known for years, but I-16. In short, I think putting away the stuff, packing away the stuff in general was something that I also felt that I have done emotionally with my emotions as I've gone through my life, the different stages of my life. And that what I have come to feel in the week since then, and we just yesterday totally cleared out all three. I mean, it's amazing. We were able to say goodbye to those three Fakakta storage units. But what I feel better, not just better than I felt like exactly a week ago when I was about to start posting this, but I feel better than I did before. And what I feel like I did is I had unfrozen and unarchived a whole big portion of my life that I felt, instead of having pushed it aside or cut it off and looking at it from a distance, I felt like I was now reconnected with the child, with the teenager, with the young man, and the older young man. And, I was reconnected, and I felt like, and I did think, Sarah said, did you really think we could do this? Like clear all three units? I mean, it's just me and her. And then sometimes I saw it, it's on this. Anyhow, I said, no, I didn't. I actually didn't think it was possible. I thought it was an Augean stable sort of situation. And I'm so lightened from that, right? I feel so much in some ways lighter, relieved that I'm not carrying the kind of dead carcass of an albatross with me. I'm carrying other things, but so I've been through it. And that's how I see you now. I come to you now, and I've now explained what happened. 061, 061, 061, 061, 061. I told my son, like yesterday, maybe in passing, I haven't given him that much advice in his life. I think I mentioned the one thing that I've told him for years, the one fatherly thing I've told him to pass along, the wisdom, which is always have enough toner for your printer. And that's not even relevant anymore. Like he doesn't even have, printer. That's the only, so I have not transmitted that much, right? But sometimes it occurs to me, and I was just walking past him, and I was just so loved in this family, my wife and my son. And I just said to my son, things can get better. That was my wisdom. I said, sometimes things can get better, especially when you're surrounded by love. And that's my takeaway. B7, B7. N34, N34, N34. N31, N31. I just want to go on the record too. The one time I ever made sort of a bunch of money, like $25,000 at once, was when 1992, I had my piece about growing up communist optioned by Universal Pictures. And that was my big money. And there's some irony in there somewhere. I-23. Oh, I was about to say something relevant. But... Oh yeah, because I got that money, I was able to pay off my student loans, which had been following me around. Famously, they follow you around wherever you go. Mars, under the ground, up in the sky. They will find you. And I had some money and I paid it. And I just want to say, for the record, that if anyone is able to take advantage of the relief from their student debt, now that's just, it's beautiful, A, it's beautiful. And B, it starts to edge into, but does not quite begin the conversation about what education was turned into, especially after Reagan. It's designed to put people deep in debt, preferably training for things that they then either can't get jobs or are underpaid to do. So the system is, I just want to mention, you knew this, but I was just really happy that some good happened, and I want more good to happen. I want to be part of it. I-29. B13. Good news, bird-wise this week. There's a family of kites that Sarah and I have been tracking. Couple, father, mother, and then there are at least 3, 4 originally little babies who then we watch get bigger, learn how to be trained how to fly, and then fledge. It was pretty amazing. But then for weeks now, it's only been maximum at this place that we go to, down in the marina, the maximum one kite, black-tailed kite bird, one, the female, we think. Sarah noticed that the female has a freckle in her iris. That's a good lens. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Anyhow, so we thought, what happened? The family's broken up, the kids left, and it looks like either God forbid, the father died or he left, and she was alone, and she was calling out. And it was pretty plaintive because they called to each other from tree to tree. This was happening between the kids and the parents and whatever. Someone is followed by like that. 062. So anyhow, so I went down a couple of days ago myself because I was busy, and I went down and like a couple of days ago, like really, and expecting to see maximum one sad calling out, whistling, sad. And there were two. It was a couple again. It was a couple again. We don't know if it's a different guy who's taking the place of the first guy, or if it's the same guy. But they're back, and they were calling out to each other from tree to tree. And I was super excited, and I texted Sarah. And even though it was getting dark, she biked really fast down so she could see it. And it was very exciting. So anyhow, I just want to say the kites that we follow, the kite family, if you will, of black-tail kites that we follow, it seems like the female, who was companionless apparently for at least a month, now again has a companion. And that's good. G55, 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 G55. We tend to get excited, my wife and I, and tell people who are walking past, like, why we're excited. Like, there's a kite up in that tree, and he's been away for like months, and now he's up in that tree. And people tend to divide into two groups. One group, I'd say possibly the larger group, is the group that really doesn't care and is a little worried that we're talking to them at all. Okay, so that's one group. But there's another smaller group, and bless them, and bless you, Sarah just sneezed, bless them, I-21. That they go, wow, thank you, I wouldn't have noticed that, thank you, So, I mean, it's exciting. And I caught it, like, I was by myself. Usually, I'm the Padawan, of birding. And the first thing that I knew that there were two, not one, but two kites, is that I heard two kite sounds coming from two different places. And one of the things that I've learned is that for birders, generally speaking, they use their ears even more than their eyes in terms of identification. And my hearing sucks. And so I'm especially smugly proud that that I heard them, identified them, and found them. N36, 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 N36. The male who was returned or come into the picture, we think is a sloppy eater, because he has what we're hoping is the remnants of his food, mostly in blood. It's probably, I should have warned you if I went into this. His blood kind of spattered over. Anyhow, not a neat eater, and I don't think we should judge. Before. Yes, I wanted to show. Okay, I have some photos. I want to do like a whole slideshow thing. I don't know how to do that. Slideshow. I want to show you some of the photos of these birds that Sarah took. They're really, really great photos. And I will figure that out in a second. I-25. 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 If you really look hard through your binoculars or excellent camera lens at a kite, they're pretty beautiful. They're fluffy, and they have eyeshadow, like this, it's very dramatic, and that must take hours to apply. And 33. And 33. Oh, 70. Oh, 70. Oh, 74. Oh, 74. Oh, and I'm thinking of a lot of that music that I was feeling sad about, like, you know, I haven't listened to in years. So I've actually been playing the records, the version that is stored in my brain from that jukebox, which had been dusty. 072. 072. 072. Wait, it already has been 072. Oh, I see what I did. I put 062 and 072. Yeah, well, I don't think it's a sign. I don't think it's a sign that I'm losing it. I just think it's very difficult to host bingo accurately. And 32. And 32. 32. 32. G46. 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 I guess I think I should have like access to those emotions, but not be disabled by them all the time. Only once in a while. I think that's where I'm at with that. Because a man's got to host bingo. And 45, and 45, and 45, and 45, and 45. G47, G47, G47. B9, B9, B9. You know, I maybe oversold the idea that you didn't have to mark down the stuff when I called it out. I think maybe in retrospect, that was maybe, I should have been a little more authoritarian on that one, but it really is, it's just not my nature. We're going to get to some numbers that, frankly, I've never experienced before because we're getting like low end of things. So it's pretty exciting. N37, 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 N37. 073. G57, G57. I've actually heard my dad played the Black Sabbath album, but it certainly was there. It was there. B3, 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 B3. Also, I got and did not throw out, but I got all these tapes, these reel-to-reel tapes that that once I find something else that I own that is worth $120,000 and get aborted, I'm going to have digitized. But these are tapes. This is my dad's handwriting. It's probably more meaningful to me. But there are these tapes, and I remember our reel-to-reel tape player where we tape things. And this one, he marks side one side, 37, 3 3/4 speed. Josh, Sue, Dad, and Sam. So this would be before my brother Sam was born. So it would be Dad's friend Sam Vogel.
Gosh, it looks like we've got a bingo in the chat.
My God, just like that. Bingo, bingo. We have double. Veganese. I know Veganese. I know, but cannot see, my dear Veganese. And yet, congratulations. Are you able to speak aloud, Veganese?
Hi, here I am. Good evening, everyone.
Good, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, okay. I haven't had bingo for a while. I'm quite thrilled.
As you should be. It's quite a thing. By the
Yes.
way, I should mention to you, the book is blowing my mind.
Oh, great. I'm loving
Yeah.
it too. It's read about
Yeah.
the birds. The birds are amazing.
Yeah, I haven't got to that yet because I read slower than anyone has ever read. But Veganese sent me this book very kindly. And it's about how each creature on the planet, each human, whatever, that we perceive things a different way because our senses sense differently and we edit the chaos that our brains are inundated with differently. And there's a word, umwelt, that he takes from someone else, that our umwelt is our perceptual bubble that we're in. So in the human umwelt, it's very visual. We tend to describe things in visual terms, but for a dog, the umwelt of a dog, which a dog would pronounce rumwelt, the rumwelt of a dog would have a lot more olfactory, a lot more smelling than we. Anyhow, it's really great. I'm still very early in it, but it's really great. It's a companion to an excellent book that I also have been given about birds. And so thank you also. And anyhow, I've been reading it and I read it on a bench in Richmond on my bike rides. And I really have gotten away from the fact, the main fact, the important fact.
Well, each creature perceives the world so differently. We all presume if every creature is more like ourselves, but we all have different capabilities of how we experience the world.
It occurred to me one of the things it does is that it reminds me or occurs to me or reinforces to me that our hope of not destroying the world or destroying life on the world, humans, I mean, it has to do with being able to achieve a kind of humility. And this book has this combination of empathy and humility, is that we are all limited.
Very.
But within our limitations is infinite beauty. But it's different for each being, each creature. And I just got that from the first 25 pages, so you can imagine what'll happen after I get through 28 pages. But in the meantime, beginning
everyone,
you have one bingo, and I don't want to in all the sort of verbiage, it's important. Actually, you say you've won bingo, but really, have you?
I will prove it now.
So if you could read to me aloud your
Yes, the first one is B3.
Yes.
And then I-29.
Yes.
Free space.
Oh, well, yes.
G55.
Yes.
And then O62.
Yes, Veganese. That is a bingo. I'm not sure how it's arranged in your card. Is it arranged in any particular shape? It's a dilingo?
Yes. From the bottom, bottom to the very far top. So it crosses
top, right?
the very bottom. Yes. From left to right.
So it's an ascending dilingo.
Yeah.
Sometimes in the trade known as an ascender dilingo. No need to memorize that. It's just you get into the weeds when you study the manual. But I want to congratulate. Yes.
I love how it's red on the card, which I'm not showing you, but the red with the black is very visual. Speaking of the way we can see and enjoy things.
Strangely, I'm smelling it more than I'm seeing it in my mind, but that may just be influenced by pages 18 through 24 inclusive.
Yes.
But that's good to know. It's very Stendhal reminiscent, and I'm very happy for you. And what this means, Veganese, is, and you'll be shocked to hear this, is that you're going to be getting a prize. And that prize is going to be given to you right now by the wonderful Caitlin.
All right. Well, congratulations. As our first bingo winner of the night, you are the winner of a Ruby membership. So that's a general admission annual pass for one to the Marsh's events. That's going to include things like invitations to members only events, priority tickets for special event performances, post-show receptions, talkbacks, MarshStream media, unlimited access to Monday night Marsh performances, members only emails, and so much more. Congratulations again on your win, and you'll see in the chat that I've told you how you will be able to redeem your prize.
And
Thank you.
what's really exciting for me, I mean, I'm excited for you, Veganese, is that no one has ever won anything like that on this game. And it's unprecedented. And that's as it should be. You deserve it. Congrats.
Thanks again.
Oh. Okay, so I'll show you a couple of birds. So see if I can do this. Okay. Am I a co-host?
You should be able to share if you give it a try.
Okay. It's weird because just before I click on desktop, if that came up and then I had like secrets that I was selling to the Saudis, it would be really embarrassing. But oh no, it's just like this thing in you guys. Okay, cool. But I know I have one batch here, so let me, this will not be complete, but let's see if you can see this. Oh, hey honey. So you may have some, this is a blue heron. Pretty sure. It's a blue heron. I think it's a blue heron. It's a blue heron.
Yeah.
Great blue. It's a great blue heron. Oh, and this is this the male of the kite?
No, that's the baby kite.
That's the baby? That's the juvenile? Yeah. Ooh. And you see the little like the way the beak sort of is set up to do some damage. Anyhow, I'll show you a couple more, and then I'm gonna put together for next time. I'm gonna put together like a slideshow or something. Well, that's different. That's my father-in-law. I'm pretty sure, as a very young man, not seen recently. Maybe going through different things. Let's see. Okay, not a relation. Oh, I love this shot. This is a blue heron from behind. You may think it's unethical.
Oh, that's a green heron.
You may think it's unethical for me to call it a blue heron when it's a green heron, clearly. And can you guys see what I mean when I say, like, how much green do you see on this obviously green heron? You know what I'm saying? It's like naming things and birds. Okay, couple more. Something. Oh, this is beautiful. This is, but it's not a black crowned night heron. It is also a great blue heron, which you can tell because it has these things, its coloration is black and white, which is why it's called great blue heron. Oh, this is okay. Okay, this is very adorable. This is a juvenile. I'm going to say juvenile green heron, and maybe I won't be corrected.
Yep.
I'm right. It's a juvenile green heron. Note the fuzzy hairdo. The fuzzy hairdo, the intense eyes, the beak that is not yet like all with a little hook on it. Okay, one more. I'll come back next week. What? It's just a straight never. Correction. I'm being told that the green heron never develops a hook. I was really thinking of the kite. This is a candid shot, frankly. Bird, I believe expelling gas would be my guess.
No, that's the green heron hunting.
Oh, it's hunting. It's hunting, but can you not? I mean, if there's one thing I have proved in my life, it is that you can, at the same time, hunt and release gas. And I don't see why it should be any different. Okay, just the last one. Okay, cool. This last one is, okay, for today is, oh, but now this one does have a, but it's not a kite, but it has the hook beak, so it's a raptor. Honey. Oh, it's a, no, don't say. Grand Ole Opry. It's an osprey. Osprey. Is that right? Yes, it's an osprey. Okay, I'm gonna stop while I'm ahead. It's an osprey that's on a nest. You can see the nest at the bottom there, and what? Did someone say bingo? In any case, I'm gonna stop sharing now. But are those not cool pictures? Those are really cool pictures. Those are just a tiny little fraction of random pictures. I'm feeling great. I actually have to think Grand Ole Opry. That's how I get to Osprey. I have to think Grand Ole Osprey. I have some things that I do. I just do. I lean on them. I'm not ashamed. Let's try to get in one more quick game.
It's 8 o'clock already, Josh.
So maybe you're saying it's time to wrap up.
Yes.
Is it a one game bingo? And whose voice is that?
That was Ellie, and maybe you want to check in with Ellie about the lovely flowers.
You read my mind. Fortunately, you didn't read some other stuff in my mind, because you'd be really appalled. But you read that part of my mind, which is really cool. Ellie, look at that big, robust display of flowers that is there. What are we talking about?
Some kind of a garden variety, I would say. It's lasting quite a long time. I
It's
got
the
this
same.
last week. No, it's a new one, but it's a sample bouquet because I like the one. So I have two of these.
This one seemed to be more multi-chromatic, to use a
Yes.
word.
This
There's
is
a better word.
more on the red side. The other one is more on the pink side.
Right. And it's beautiful. And
How you feeling?
who asked me that? You, Ellie?
Yes.
And who are you asking? Me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, now that I've established that, how am I feeling? I'm feeling pretty good. It's always lovely to see you. Oh, there's Laura. Sorry, missed you before, Laura, and she disappeared. Okay, and she's back. Okay, it is great to see you all. It's great to talk to you. It's great to look at those beautiful flowers. I apologize for being a very private person, and so you may wonder things about me, but you're not going to hear any stuff from me about me. And it's just bingo all the way, and I think that's what you like. So anyhow, seriously, I feel pretty good, don't I? Do I feel pretty good? Yes, I got a nod. So one of the things about being a performer, Ellie and others, I think I've talked about this before, is that I actually don't know who I am, what I think, or how I feel, usually, until I'm with other people who reflect me back to me. And so I'm looking at a bunch of smiles, and it's making me feel really good. So
I was gonna tell you, Josh, that my husband also sold a couple of boxes of records, and he got $125 out of this store in San Francisco, Hayden Ashbury. But I don't know how many boxes.
was there any emotional sort of thing for him, or?
Yeah, he's a pet rack, so it's really hard for him to let go of anything. And we still have a couple of boxes at home.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Did you say $25?
$125.
Oh, 125. That's a little better, but still.
Laura, earlier I was talking about how I sold record collection because I was excavating a storage unit, and I decided to just sell them all at Rasputin Records, and it was, you know, huge swaths of my soul, and it added up to $70. Added up $70, which I'm not knocking, because now I have $70 in cash. And if I should be walking down the street and I see a smoothie shop and I want a smoothie, my record money's right there to get it. So I'm feeling all right. Yeah.
Josh, can I be impose upon your privacy and ask if you still have a job at the MAC?
Do you mean the job of being alive, of the job of carrying on the long tradition of Jewish misery and guilt, or do you mean an actual paying job like the job I had at the Brain Place?
Oh, I guess that's the answer. You said had in the past tense. Oh God.
I don't currently have a job, and but I'm thinking of getting into the record selling business. I think I have a video that as soon as payment comes through from UCSF, we'll start working on. UCSF, the bureaucracy is very smooth, very efficient, and it'll happen sometime. 15 years. But when we get that, I and this wonderful woman who is a Pilates instructor, who's also a fellow at the Global Brain Health Institute, and my producer Alex, we're going to make a video, and I will be paid for it. So that's kind of a job, and that's coming up. And the video will be when people go to the Memory and Aging Center, then they tend to have, you know, brain problems. Or brain illnesses or concerns. Many of them have movement issues with the way they move related to the brain thing. And so this will be a video for them, simple exercises that they can do that can help them sometimes greatly improve their quality of life and also their caregivers. So that is the one paying job that I have coming up, other than the ones I don't know about, which will be coming in throughout the next week. And cause me to be independently wealthy. Thanks for asking. Oh, also, I'm performing again in case anyone. I got COVID, and so I didn't perform my backyard performance of Citizen Brain, and then I got bounced back COVID, so I didn't perform. I rescheduled it for 2 weeks later, and then I couldn't do that. So the rescheduled performances are coming up next weekend, September 3rd and 4th, 7 p.m. in a beautiful backyard in Berkeley. Citizen Brain, and there are 12 seats remaining because some people couldn't make it with the new rescheduling. And that is all I have to say about it.
Well, if somebody can have my 2 seats because I'm in St. Louis now.
Did you not return the tickets?
I don't know what I did. I thought they kind of rolled over, and I wrote you an email and said, I can't come, enjoy, I'm leaving. So,
okay. So if any of you would like to bring someone, a +1, call yourself Laura X. And there will be 2 tickets waiting for you next, Saturday or Sunday?
That's a funny question.
That's what I'm known for.
It could be either one.
Come either day. Just come either day.
Now, is it at the person's house that I went to when it had been canceled and she was talking to you on the phone?
Yes, Laura showed up because she hadn't seen the email that got sent out saying that it was. So I got a thing from the host saying, we have an audience member here, which is like my nightmare. But
it was only me, so it's no big deal, right?
That's the thing. So yeah, and is it not a lovely house?
Oh yes, and not that I was inside, but it was perfect otherwise.
Well, she's very selective.
Now she was very nice, and I don't know if she ever told you, she took me home because I had been dropped off there for the evening.
Her. That is so Kristen. My friends' names are Kristen and Jeff, and they're unbelievably great people. And you can eat them if you come to see the shows. And now let's all sing. Marsh bingo.
Bingo.
Marsh
Bingo.
Marsh
Bingo.
bingo.
Marsh
Bingo.
bingo.
One more time for the still in progress Saugerties branch of the marsh. Marsh.
Marsh
Like that. Marsh. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Have a great week.